Hi, Thomas.
Thomas is not here. Leave a message.
Hi, Thomas. This is Dustin. I was just wondering if you wanted to...
Beep!
Damn it!
Oh, hi.
Oh,
I answered the phone now. I'm back.
do you want to talk about German Pilsners?
Lords, do I?
I don't know.
I do. Honestly, I do.
Oh, cool.
Because you actually brought a Pilsner that I've never... You brought a beer that I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's fun, right?
Or heard of.
Oh, yeah. Christy's here again.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Also, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
No,
This is we're going to try a German Pils that is fairly new to the area.
that's not Beck's.
That's not Beck's. It's not Bitburger.
See?
It's not Wienstefaner. It's not Polliner. It's Kolbitzer.
Cool. Kolbitzer sounds like... It sounds like Stephen Colbert went on like a lightning roar. Kolbitzer.
See, I look at
That's a
this.
blitzkrieg joke.
I look at this and I think of, this is gonna peeve some people off. I think of like a Colt 45
I was just about to say
can,
that.
which
It works every time.
I am a diehard fan of Colt 45 malt liquor. It's dumb.
45.
Colt 45.
Old Billy D. Williams.
So this is.
Landale Calrissian himself.
I don't know if it's the mostly white that is what's doing it because Colt 45
No,
is the cans.
it's the font and the upward slope of the C.
Gotcha.
Colt, and then 45 was below it.
Gotcha.
But Kolbitzer, I haven't had it yet, but I'm expecting it to taste pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
I'm gonna be
You're
honest. It
confident?
smells grassy.
It smells
in a good way.
It smells exactly like a Czech Pils or any other Pils I've ever had. It's in a can, which I adore.
It's reasonably priced.
Ooh, what is it?
And it's like $6 for a 4-pack of, I'm going to say 16 ounce, but it's probably closer to
14 or 15.
500 mil. Yeah, 500 mil cans.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's a little green floral in the end, but
Yeah.
It does smell like more of
that's
a Czech Pils.
as good or better than Bitburger, and I don't hate that.
Yeah. I mean,
Here's the thing. That's everything I want Pilsner or Kel to be for like $1 or $2 cheaper.
Yeah. It's not as bitter
Oh, and I don't mind that.
as a German Pils typically is. Yeah, I don't either, but
It's got more
Yeah.
flavor than like a Budweiser, but
for
less
sure.
bite than a Pilsner or Kel.
yeah.
and it finishes clean. It finishes very clean,
This is
and it
pretty
makes
good.
you thirsty for more.
Yeah. It's from
Because
one
it
of
does
like,
hit the back of the
It's
tongue.
the
really.
finest German quality. The finest German quality. The finest. Oh, I'm just reading the top again. It's fine. It keeps saying that.
but yeah,
Well,
it's
because
from a
it is.
smaller distributor in the area
Sure.
who by and large only carries weirdo Eastern European beers and wines.
There are some great things come out of there. There is
Yeah.
there is a distributor who I don't think is around anymore that carried 3 bottles left over there of it's a Pinot Gris rested on red wine grapes. It's the
really?
Civi Pinot from Slovenia,
Oh.
and it's killer. But you can't get it anymore. I think I got like one of the last 2 cases in town. It's fine. But it was legit amazing. But it's like, oh, it's from Slovenia. And you go, Slovenia, where the fuck's that? Turns out this winery is like 10 miles over the border from northern Italy. It's like, oh, it's an Italian Pinot. Just happens to be in a weird Eastern Bloc state that used to be.
Right.
So who fucking cares?
Oh, for sure. And yeah, this is a very tasty beer.
It's quite refreshing for somebody such as myself who's not a huge fan of the pills.
You're not a big fan of the Pils. I know the Bitburger you did not like at all. You said it was way too bitter, way too hoppy.
You don't kills for the pills.
I don't kills for the pills, but this is quite refreshing. It's quenching and leaves you asking for more.
Quenching.
Absolutely. That's all you really want from a German Pils.
I don't hate that gerund. Quenching. I like it. This is actually a pretty good balance between like a weird American Pils, a German Pils, and a Czech Pils with that hard bite on the end.
Like
Yeah.
that hard water finish.
This is
Yeah.
if somebody gave me like what is it the Stange glasses for Kolsch. I think it's a thing in Germany.
Yeah.
If you're in an area where they serve Kolsch, it's
These straight glasses.
you get these straight glasses that are like 200 or 300 milliliters each, which is 5 or 6 ounces.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say, like 8 ounces, something like that.
And they just take your coaster and they just make notches in your coaster. So you had 30 of these glasses. That's what you pay at the end of the night. But each glass is like a quarter of a beer. So they just carry on these huge things and they set them down and you drink them. So if you had 30 of them, you've had 7.5 beers.
Right.
Not ridiculous. A lot, but not ridiculous. So this is the kind of beer where I could drink this if it was cold. You just crank these. If there's a bathroom that I can go to, sure, I could do this.
Yeah, it's nice.
again,
I have very specific needs.
summertime beer. This is very much.
This is very much more.
A
Oh yeah, this is a warm weather
summertime
beer for sure. This is
beer.
a drink a lot of them kind of beer for sure, which is nice. Like I said,
This-
$6 a 4-pack.
This can would be like the one where you have it in a cooler, not a Yeti because it's too expensive, but something that does the job of the Yeti. And you scrape off the fucking the chipped ice and be like, Kolbitzer. Head for the mountains. And by those I mean the Alps because it's
Yes,
Yeah.
because it does taste like.
head for Switzerland.
Had I ever licked the actual side of the Alps, I imagine it would taste like this beer.
Do you lick the Alps?
I don't know
I suppose you can.
what the tradition is.
I
to be-
kissed the Blarney Stone once. It was gross and mossy.
Oh, I'm sure you probably got a lip infection after that.
Well, yeah, I did, but not because of the stone.
Because you have herpes? Mouth herpes?
Hey, look, man, I don't want to
I'm
get.
not judging.
Hey,
I'm
man.
just saying.
Hey,
It's fine.
yes.
Some people have mouth herpes.
Look, here's the thing. I got gutter mouth. It's fine.
Trench mouth? Do you have trench mouth?
No, I didn't say that, sir.
Gutter.
I said gutter mouth, not trench mouth. I'm not an animal. Right? How dare you?
But yeah, no, I mean, it is
Also
pretty
eat shit.
good. On, a different track from Thomas's Trench Mouth. Back to this
No,
beer.
you motherfuckers.
I have to tell you, this is a very pretty and clear beer. I can't
Oh yeah, it's crystal
read
clear.
through it. Like, I can see Thomas's reflection in the beer, and I can see the poster behind him. Same with Dustin. I mean, and it is
You were
lovely
inverted.
clear. Everything was inverted, and it was weird. And I was like,
It was like Top
what?
Gun.
It was the upside down
It was,
in Stranger Things. I was in the upside down, and I got
I
scared.
don't know the show, so.
I recommend it if you get a chance. You don't like
you don't like
scary things, and you
Well,
hate
first of
sci-fi, and children enrage you.
Let
Get
me
it.
let me know when you're done.
I get it. You hate everything that's good and wonderful in this world, and you
Yeah.
have poor taste in everything.
Yeah, but besides that, what's your point?
What's your point?
No, I gave 2 or 3 episodes of Stranger Things a try, and I just
That's interesting.
like Mad Men, I gave it 4 episodes, and Lost, I give it 11 episodes. I was like,
Wow.
that's not for me, man.
wow. So your
Mad
tolerance.
Men's great. Lost is great until the end, and then it's garbage. So you're fine.
I would argue
Bullet
that point,
dodged.
but yeah, thank you.
I like Stranger Things, but I like weird stuff. But you know what Stranger Things doesn't have in common with this beer? Anything. Because this is a beer that you drink, and Stranger Things is an imagination story
Imagination.
from twin brothers.
You're really good about drawing comparisons. Have I ever told you that?
Apples and machetes.
But yeah, to be honest, like it's a very clear beer. It doesn't, I don't feel like have a whole heck of a lot in the way of head retention or any real lacing on the
No, that's
side
fine.
of the
This
container.
beer's made to be
I would
consumed
s-
out of the can.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's the point of this beer though.
No,
But
I would say
it
this
is
though.
refreshing.
Whereas there are other styles like the Belgian blonde, which we've done.
Yeah. Recently.
Oh, for sure. I feel like that's a style where I appreciate the style pretty much no matter who brews it. The
Fair.
German pills, this is very much more dependent on can versus bottle,
Oh, yeah.
brown versus green,
Okay.
Yeah.
and also producer and everything else. If you hand me a bottle of green like Beck's, it's gonna taste like a nickel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it's
a
gonna
hard
taste like
pass.
it's gonna taste very bad.
Okay.
Where this is a fresh canned German pills from some weird fucking distributor, you're not gonna be able to get everywhere. Fine, but I feel like Bitburger would be a good example.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I don't know.
Bex is maybe not a great example because they do technically, I think, brew that here in St. Louis now.
Sure.
Well,
Green
I
bottle
don't-
doesn't help it though,
Oh,
because
it's
it's
awful.
already, even by the time it gets from the brewery down the fucking street to your grocery store, it's fucked.
I
because it's
think
green
I
bottle.
heard the green bottle beer.
Probably allows more in. I feel like than a brown.
No, they are light struck. They have an off flavor light struck within 2 to 3 hours being in a normal like
Really.
grocery convenience store lights.
Yeah, man, because green
Really,
bottles are
that's terrible.
garbage.
If green
terrible.
bottles block 20% of UV, I think
Yep.
brown bottles block between 90 and 95.
I thought it was like 80, but either way, it's
Whatever it is, the point is
it's a lot more.
brown bottles can hold for
Significantly
3
longer.
months, really.
Yeah.
6 months, maybe, depending on the style.
You know what these sweet cans do though? They block every fucking single percentage.
You know what
of your
cans are?
light.
They're the smallest form of keg.
So I just want to say that if anybody is from Festus, Missouri,
And you want to hang out with Tom. Wait, what?
and you have ever had a drink out of the hose of your backyard or of my parents' backyard,
I feel like it's a very personal story.
Yeah, I was
this
gonna-
is a personal story.
This is a
I
very
am
specific
taking you
cross section.
down a path. This has the Finnish mineral flavor content of hose water.
It has minerality.
Yes, which our hose water totally
By the
did.
way-
It was like the best water.
We got to it through a weird story, but I get where you're coming from. Maybe this is more
I don't know if it's
its
like that
basic
throughout.
side, the more minerality. I get that. This is mineral spring water, kind of like very, not acid, but alkaline. I would say it's absolutely that. And that's a
Right.
weird thing to say. Like, I don't have a bunch of pH strips here to sit there just
Well,
like, oh, this is basic. This is
I
acidic.
understand.
But
So my understanding.
but I
is
understand
at
what
least
you're
in
saying.
St. Louis, in the St. Louis area, we have very flavor neutral water, which is part of the reason why our water is so good. But you move out to these more outlying areas, like where I'm from in Festus, we don't necessarily have direct water purification plants from, the river. We actually defer more to underground aquifers. So that's why I'm saying, like, this tastes like the hose out of my backyard. Yes, Thomas, you have your hand raised. You have something you would like to present to us.
By the way, I raise my hand a lot, so you have to deal with it. I absolutely agree with you. No, the city of St. Louis, actually, weirdly, this is a weird way back machine. Anheuser-Busch actually paid for a lot of the construction and remodel for sewer systems in St. Louis, so they could
Which
get the
makes
proper
sense.
water for
Sure.
the brewery over the last half century.
Makes
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, right? So they've done all that, and it tastes great. So the water you get in the city of St. Louis is basically about as neutral you can get. It's generally between 7 and 8 on a pH scale. 7 being exactly neutral, we shade a little bit alkaline. Fine. But overall in the St. Louis area, as you get to the outlying areas, as you said, they tend to go a little bit more alkaline. It's limestone, lye, tends to be more basic. That's 14, and the other side, like sulfuric acid, is like a 1. That's the pH scale. You get more basic. So you get more minerality. Hard water, I think it's when you get more alkaline.
Because if you just go, like, where we live is, what, 45 minutes southwest of here? Like, it's not a huge drive. It's a straight,
but it's
44
different,
straight
But
down.
it's a different water source.
But
We're
it is
getting
from the
river.
Oh yeah, we have
aquifer.
like well water, so
You're getting that. We're getting river, and then there's different cleanse, purification.
Purification.
Sure.
And so there is so when I was going through that entire scenario, that's what I was saying. Like, it's very specific
I
to
get
which
this.
region you're in. Because even my parents' backyard to what comes out of our hose in our yard, straight difference. There's a huge difference. But it's a pleasant quality. It's a pleasant minerality.
And I think that's part of the reason why the brewery has taken hold here.
Probably.
Is because we have that water table quality, and it got close to Germany, Belgium, those things where they built this up. We have a similar environment, and that's great. We did it. Fine. Hooray us, Germans. Germans never did anything wrong. We get it. So, I think which is why we have such. I think we do have such good water. We do make such good beer. Where I've read a lot of homebrew forums when you're talking about this, I could never make anything this clean. Absolutely not. It would take a lot of equipment, and I still would probably fail.
Which saves a lot of gear.
I would succeed probably 1 out of every 4 times. A lot of gear, a lot of everything else, a lot of stuff like that. But if I'm homebrewing here in St. Louis, I'm very fortunate that I have this water table where I can adjust very minimally and get where I want to go, versus someone who lives in, say, whatever I'm just
Haiti.
Nebraska.
I'm making this up. Well, Haiti, Nebraska, Arizona, Florida, wherever else, where it may be more on the acidic side, that may be harder to bring back. Whereas if it's basic side, alkali side,
Easy.
I can make all the English beers I want.
Yeah.
I have a whole spectrum of things where if I'm on the other side, I have to treat every fucking thing and add everything else.
Yeah.
So we're
It's
good, we're
incredibly
blessed.
fortunate where we live because people complain about hard water in their pipes and hard water with their soaps because it does screw it up.
And people complain like, I go to Chicago or Florida or wherever else, the water tastes like shit. Our water here tastes, at least city,
good.
county,
In the city, yeah.
pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, it's
I can't
pretty
speak
decent.
for you guys are, but I will never complain.
Our well water was an adjustment because it's, as
Heavier.
Chrissy likes to say, liquid rocks.
Yeah.
But once you get used to it, it's kind of delicious.
But
and
the thing
everything
that
else doesn't quite
is-
hold up.
And the thing is, I would imagine, at least as a beer maker, you can so much more easily correct hard water with maybe a citric acid or a vinegar, like something that would raise it
Okay.
or lower that pH a bit.
And there are salts that can go the other way. But yeah.
Yeah, like it's buying, because I had to buy citric acid to clean the. So in our bathroom, our toilets under the water line looked like I'd never scrubbed a toilet in my life.
Oh, you have the discoloration? Yeah.
The discoloration.
That's normal.
Pour a quarter cup of citric acid in there and just kind of give it a swish. Let it sit for 45 minutes. Sparkling white. Easy peasy, and I didn't have to do much. And I imagine that's probably how
Keep going. Easy peasy and Song of the South it.
Lemon squeezy.
Perfect. Not the other one. It's fine.
And,
No,
but,
I
I mean,
agree with
really, I think that probably as a beer brewer, it would be easier to add than to subtract. Does that make sense?
I would agree with you. And I think there's reasons why classic hubs of like craft beerness exist certain places.
Yeah.
Ohio,
Okay.
St. Louis, Colorado, Northwest. Everyone can do it. Never a good treat now, but generally,
Yeah.
where people had an easier time.
Right. Where we had
The,
nicer
that
water.
Makes
that
sense.
first step was already done.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I imagine that Germany has pretty hard water
Germany has.
because they're landlocked.
They're landlocked, but they do have the
Rhine.
The Rhine.
Or just Rhine.
They do Rhine.
Just Rhine.
Rhine. They do have a good base.
Yeah. Like, I think, though, I mean, isn't. I don't know.
Pretty much.
Tell me about it, Thomas.
No. Pretty much.
Teach me things.
I don't really know the water tables of the worldwide, but
No, yeah, Germany has hard water.
but pretty much every major city in Europe, major civilization, are on a river,
Yeah.
and generally that has pretty neutral to semi-neutral water. The Seine, the Rhine, the Danube, the Volga. Volga is not a river. The Volga is a river.
What's the one that Pilsen's on in the Czech Republic? That's because that one is.
Oh,
like, they have
Tigris.
surprisingly soft water.
Euphrates.
You're just making up things now.
No, wait, I mean, those are real rivers. I just don't think
They are real
no,
rivers.
it's not the,
They're not in the Czech Republic.
It's not the Rubicon. It's
No,
it's
that's-
in Italy.
Either way.
Keep talking.
Yeah. But yeah, they have soft water. Like those Czech Pilsners have like, they're made from like legendarily soft water. But like by and large, a lot of the other ones, like your German Pils, or like a bunch of your Irish stouts, your dry stouts, like those benefit from
Those are
the hard water.
Those are very. In fact, if you try to make an Irish stout or like an English or Irish style beer here, you have to add all these salts to make it.
Which makes sense because they're
From-
in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. So basically,
So-
a 7, you have to get it near like a 10. But you also have the right combinations of minerals in there, so you have to adjust all over the place. Which
I
is why
believe
you
that.
have the Burton-on-Trent fucking ESB tastes a certain way. The reason why Guinness tastes better in Ireland than here is because of the water table. You can get
Gotcha.
close, you can't get
But
specific.
you can't get it right.
And then you also can't get the production throughput where you're never going to find anything as specific or fresh as Guinness in Ireland because people drink the fucking shit out of it.
Right.
You can have a great, here's the thing, if you want a great Guinness here, go to Tegine or Amsterdam or Jack Patrick's in St. Louis. Great Guinness. It's not going to compare to Ireland because A, water table's different, and B, we don't blow through it as quick as they do.
Yeah.
So, and also, there's also the Yingling problem, right?
I don't know that problem.
Yingling is the beer in the East made in Pennsylvania where people are like, Yingling's the best, Yingling's the best, why can't we
Yeah.
get Yingling here? And it's really just
They
an
act
amber,
like it's the best thing.
it's an amber lager, but people think it's great here because we can't get it every day. It's
Gotcha.
a scarcity problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I perceive Guinness in Ireland being better because I was there and having a great time and I was on vacation.
Right.
The same way people who go to Florida and they're like, I had a Yingling on the beach, it was great. It's like, well, yeah, if you had a Yingling on the beach on vacation, it tastes better than you sitting in your basement
Yeah.
and no fucking shit.
Yeah, like one time I had a Mai Tai and I won $300 at the casino on a penny slot.
So why
That
don't
was
my
the best tasting Mai Tai.
yeah? So
I've
why don't my
ever
ties taste
had.
better? Yeah,
It had nothing to do with the
I had a
casino.
scorpion bowl this one time.
Right. I mean, so I can see where that comes from. But I
It's
do
a hell of
think,
beer.
I think
Yeah,
a lot
it's
with
good
those
stuff.
pills doesn't have to really. It's very dependent on the water table of the area. Isn't that like the big thing?
I
with
mean,
the Czech
not
pills?
so much these days, but like historically, absolutely.
Historically, it was.
It's just
Okay.
like these days you can tweak your water, your brewing water, however you like. But yeah, historically, like, you know, you couldn't do that. So your water was like the most important first step when you're brewing beer. So like that's why like this style is called German Pils. It's not called a Pilsner,
Gotcha.
and that's supposedly out of respect for the Czech Pilsner because it was the original Pilsner beer, and the water in the Czech Republic is very soft and it provides a softer beer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Whereas
That's what I was thinking.
the German Pilsner is typically more aggressive flavor-wise. It's more bitter. You know, it's got more.
And that's interesting to me because I'm not a huge fan of the Pilsner.
Yeah.
I really do like this, at least this particular.
The
German
Kolbitzer I've
Pils.
noticed is it doesn't have nearly the bitter bite that a lot of German Pilsners do have.
And it does remind me, like, there is a
It is very much more
minerality.
like, this tastes a lot more like a Czech Pils than most of your German Pils
Yeah.
are going to taste.
And it's a very nice, clean, and it finishes beautifully clean. I can take a drink and it's not sitting on my tongue. I can take a drink
it's really
and then
clean.
take another and be fine.
Yeah,
not
it's
something
a
where
really-
you have to be married to the idea of having this Pilsner on your tongue. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, it's very clean, crisp, easy drinking beer style. And that's the idea. This one is particularly smooth and light, and it doesn't have
Right.
a big bitter kick to it.
Yeah, no, because I'm not a huge fan of like super bitter
Sure.
beers.
And I don't think any of us here are super big fans of lager style beers, pilsners, really in general.
If there has been
But,
a hop within 30 yards of this beer, I'm not into it.
There
That is what a
has.
baby I am when it comes to hops.
You
But
don't like to detect the hops in your
I
beers.
don't like
but
to know that hops
I hate to tell you
exist
this.
in this world.
They're pretty much in all the beers.
They're Dunby hops.
I'm not into it. It's the goofiest thing.
I get it.
It's not my flavor profile.
Thomas, have you ever brewed a German Pilsner? Because one thing we've not done yet is talk about home brewing and German Pilsners.
No, I haven't. And it goes back to the equipment production and waiting.
Yeah.
Generally,
There are ways to cheat it though, right? When you're home brewing, kind of.
there are, but I mean,
So no, you're not going to buy a what's that guy? What's that?
A fermentation
coil we
chamber.
call it? A copper coil.
Oh no!
Distiller?
The copper coil that chills the beer.
Yeah, wort chiller.
Wort chiller.
Fuck's sake.
I've had those, but
Yeah.
the fact is if you're brewing,
It doesn't really do it.
well, that's great to get it into fermentation, but you still have to go down the path of you have ales, you have lagers.
Yeah.
One ferments at like 66 to 70 degrees. One ferments at like 28 to 36. So the question is like, do you want to spend money on a fermentation chamber, or only brew it 1.5 months a year? You could. So the
Sure.
fact is there much of a difference between a Kolsch and a Pils? Not a unleapable amount.
Right, not an insurmountable amount of
So
difference.
the question
yeah.
is I always brewed with ale yeasts. Now, were there safe lager yeasts that could brew lagers
Sure.
up to like 55 degrees? Sure. Absolutely. Did they taste great? No. Did they taste like this? No. You have to have process. And to have
Yeah.
process, you need equipment. And that's why breweries can do it. And home brewers, it's just not worth the squeeze. I'm not opposed to it, but it also required patience, longer turnaround, and specialized
Yeah.
equipment. And in the meantime, I could have produced any number of
3
stouts,
beers.
brown ales, Kolsch's, IPAs, pale ales, saisons. It just didn't.
Flavorful, delicious beers.
And the thing was, is I could do all this to get a beer that probably wasn't as good as Pilsner, Urquell, or Budweiser. I didn't see the math never made sense.
Sure.
So you would have to brew this with a lager. This would be a lager beer.
Lagers.
It's a lager beer,
Okay.
yeah. So it's going to take extra time.
Twice to 3 times as much as secondary time.
It's going to have less alcohol and less flavor in the end.
I would need more equipment on the
So-
front end.
Yeah.
It would be like cold fermenting a sourdough versus room temperature fermenting a sourdough bread. By
Yes.
the way, I've been making
No.
lots of sourdough.
It would be like that, except at the beginning of cold fermenting,
Okay.
you'd also have to fork over. How much does it cost to cold ferment a sourdough? How much input do you have? Like $10?
No.
Less.
$4.
Less.
Okay, it'd be similar to saying at the beginning of every cold ferment sourdough, you have to pay an ethereal spirit person $20 to $30.
Okay.
Because essentially, I'd have to buy $500 worth of equipment.
Okay.
So times that by
So you don't
however
just...
much. The break even is so far away.
So you don't start with a warm fermented sourdough and then just put it in the fridge after
No, you need to
feed
start.
it.
You need to start in a different way from the very beginning.
You need
Okay, so... Okay.
To put it in bread terms that everyone can understand.
Right. Okay.
you need to start at basically 36 to 38 degrees maximum.
Okay.
So realistically, it's like, do you have a separate freezer to ferment your beer that's calibrated to the 10th of a degree? Oh, you don't? Screw yourself. It's like
So it's very, very picky. It's a very
It is.
picky type of...
no, it's very picky.
yeast.
The result is amazing if you can do it right, but then again,
You have to do it that right.
I could
Yeah.
buy
Then you can go to the grocery store and
Literally.
for $6 get a 4-pack of something that's better.
you could buy something like,
Just like
five to 800 6-packs just for the equipment outlay.
So then my next question is this. Does a beer that is like this, like a Pilsner, the lagering, like anything where you would use a lagered yeast, it's not at all worth it for you to homebrew it? Is that
Generally, no.
Generally not.
Typically, that's where we land when
Okay.
we cover Pilsner or lagers. In general.
Homebrewers brew ales.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They don't brew lagers.
Gotcha.
The benefit of brewing lagers is at scale.
So even in like your colder climates,
You could.
it would be more beneficial for you.
There's
to
still a
brew
lot
it.
of variance, even in your colder climate. There's
But
still a
but
lot
also
of
put it
variance.
this way.
Okay.
Let's say it's colder more months of the year. Let's say I live in Milwaukee or St. Paul,
Okay.
Minneapolis.
Okay.
Right? Cool. It's colder most of the year. I don't need a fermented chamber. I don't need a fucking
You're
fridge.
just
to do it.
living in a cave with your
I
beers.
can put it on my back
Yeah.
porch.
Yep.
However, I may have 4 months a year where it's cold enough to do that, but out of those 4 months, I have 2 months where the fucking shit freezes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's not that there's like a low, I need to get down to at least this. It's like there is an upper range I need to
tiny
get to,
range.
and
Yeah.
then there's a lower range where it'll kill everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's all about control. And if you have the control and you can do it, you can scale it indefinitely. You know, Bushman, of course, and you can make everything. But realistically, the juice isn't worth it. Like, why would I do that? Because I can make so many other things.
Okay, I gotcha now. I was wondering because I know with once again we're going to go back to the sourdough because the sourdough is essentially solid beer. They were made practically the same way with initially with wild yeast. wheat.
Outside of the look of the beer, if I gave you 3 opaque glasses, and I brewed a Kolsch that took, say, 6 weeks. I gave you a Pilsner that took 12 weeks. That's
Bonkers.
minimum.
Yeah,
Pretty
minimum.
bonkers.
12 weeks for the Pilsner, 6 weeks for the Kolsch, and I gave you a Centennial Blonde with the Centennial hops and it's a blonde ale.
Took like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Okay.
Every time you tasted it, could you tell a difference or which one's the best or whatever else, which one you like the most?
Probably not.
It'll probably change all over the place.
Gotcha. Because I was just kind of wondering, like, so this is per the can, brewed in strict accordance to the German purity law. So this was before we knew that yeast was a microorganism.
Well, it has.
So it would have to be open container. It'd have this big, essentially concrete stone.
I mean,
No.
not necessarily.
It would just.
No?
It would just mean it that couldn't have rye in it.
Yeah, the Red
Okay.
Heizkomoda is essentially just saying you can use these 3 or 4 ingredients. When they realized how important yeast was, they
Water,
altered-
yeast, hops, malt, and malt is barley.
malted barley. Yeah, those are the 4 ingredients.
Okay.
Like the original Red Heizkomoda didn't mention yeast because they didn't know what the fuck yeast was.
Because-
but once they figured that out, they changed the law. But it's those 4 things. You can't add rye, like you said. You
Wheat.
can't add wheat, which there's like a weird thing with German wheat beers where they let that happen. But you
But
can't
those
add
are, like, really
oatmeal.
wealthy, correct?
You can't add coffee. Yeah, it's just those 4
Well,
things.
the-
That's the Reinheitsgebot thing. They want their beers to taste like this, like a
Gotcha.
Kolbitzer.
And part of the original Reinheitsgebot was you couldn't have wheat or rye in there because
They needed those for fucking bread.
They needed those to make potentially some sourdoughs for their sourdough bread.
pretty much
Yes.
they said
Yeah.
brewers you can't brew with that because we need to
We need to feed the
deliver that.
masses. Yeah.
the bread
fact,
makers.
though. Fun fact. So, You know those really barmy beers where you get like that really thick yeasty bit at the bottom?
Yeah, the
Barm.
Your oud gooses. We've been drinking a lot of
that
oud
barm?
gooses lately.
Is that
That
the
is
word?
what it was traditionally called. I don't know if it's still called that now.
That's a bread term, I think.
You can actually take that and pour that into your into your dough.
Trub is what I'm looking for.
Trub.
Yeah, same
And
dip.
potentially, you know, like maybe it was called Trub and I'm just calling it Barm for no dang reason.
The remnant, by the way, the remnants of a bottle or a brewing batch is called, well, at a brewing batch, it's called Trub.
Okay. So you could, people would actually.
Barm, I think, is like the froth off the top.
Is it? So you would actually add that into your wheat before you had commercialized yeast. And the early 20th century, they would say add hop oil, because that's when they finally commercialized yeast. They would say add hop oil to get that traditional bread flavor, because that's what you would do. And then you would
bread.
just pinch a bit of your dough off and save it in salts. So that way it would actually dry out fairly quickly, and then you can scrape
dough.
the salt off. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a sourdough mother.
Or a mother, it's not mother dough, mother yeast.
Something like that, yeah. And so that was a secondary type of sourdough. Just a fun fact, because I've been making a lot of sourdough.
Nailed it.
Indeed. But, yeah, I mean... So yeah, once again, with our lager beers, the moral of the story, homebrewing wise, is don't fucking bother.
Don't bother with that.
Just buy them.
Make a Belgian blonde, an American blonde, make a Kolsch, or really anything else.
Yeah, because it's just not.
And if you have the
if you're homebrewing, it's not worth the fucking time and effort.
if you
to make a lager.
Yeah, if you have the facilities, the wherewithal, the knowledge to make a pilsner or a lager,
Open a fucking
you
brewery.
you shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Right.
It would be cheaper to go to Germany and see how they do it.
And anytime you see a homebrew kit that's like extract, like, oh, we'll brew a lager, you'll get there. It won't be good.
It won't be good.
It'll
No.
be. Here's the thing. It'll be drinkable.
That's
Barely.
about it. Because this is actually fairly solid. I do
So.
like this.
Yeah. But yeah, that is. I don't know. I guess that's about it.
Okay.
It's a wandering path, but we made it there.
That's how it goes. By and large,